Okay, what we're doing today is we're going to have an argument, or I guess a debate, a more friendly debate, about whether you should or should not be driving traffic to your Amazon listings, or if you should be driving it to your own website. The benefits, the pros and cons of both. My name is Andrew Maffetone. I am the director here at Seller's Choice.
I'm Gina Milazzo. I am a content editor and copywriter.
So we're going to start this off with taking our sides and stating our case, and then we're going to have a little back and forth of why we think the other is wrong. So to start us off, I'll go ahead and start us off here. So I'm going to be taking the side of not driving traffic to your Amazon listings and driving it to your own site. My argument is you don't own the customer on Amazon. So on Amazon, you're going to drive traffic to the Amazon page, your listing page. You're going to get, your BSR is going to improve, and maybe is the theory, and you're going to get these sales. But if I start driving traffic through Facebook ads or Google ads or anything like that, I can't tell if I actually got the conversion on Amazon. You can't do any kind of pixel or any kind of conversion tracking. So you don't own the customer, so you're not getting their email. If you do own the customer, you have your own Shopify site. You now have the option to A, continue to remarket them if they don't purchase. B, if they do buy, you now have their email, so you can retarget them in the future. You can run ads to them in the future. It's significantly easier to launch a new product because you already have a customer base to go after. Whereas on Amazon, you get the sale on Amazon and then they're gone and that's it, and that's the end of it. So I don't see the benefit of pushing to Amazon if you're only going to rely on Amazon, especially when Amazon can suspend you at the last minute and all of a sudden your whole business is out of whack and you have no money anymore and you're screwed. So I would prefer having sellers be pushing to a Shopify site or whichever site they prefer and directing people there, and then maybe giving them the option to say we are also on Amazon, because I know there are consumers out there that just prefer Amazon.
All good points, Andrew.
Boom.
So I'm arguing the side that you should be pushing your traffic to Amazon, and I think it really boils down to three things. The first one I would say is the fact that while you don't own your customer, it's a great way to increase brand recognition. So if you already have a lot of brand recognition, you have people that are searching for your brand name or for your product specifically, that's great. If you don't, which is I think the case most of the time, I think it's a better idea to be driving to Amazon for the sole purpose of kind of building out that customer, building up a little bit of traffic, getting yourself established in your category. So say, for example, you sell athletic socks. If nobody knows your brand name, you want to be there competing with the other people selling for that the items in that product category. The second thing I think, even though Andrew doesn't really agree with this, it does help with the Amazon algorithm. If you are making the algorithm happy, which is usually the case if you are driving external links to your Amazon listings, your BSR will increase. Amazon kind of pays you back for that external traffic. So if your links instead were driving your Shopify, you're not really getting that turnover onto Amazon. You're not going to be building that traffic. You're kind of losing that edge. And I think the third thing, and I like to argue that, I'm a little bit of a new fresh face here. I'm kind of still on the consumer-facing side, that I don't really trust websites as much as I trust Amazon, which is really a good thing that Amazon has done so far on their part to make their consumers feel a little more comfortable. So if I'm on a website and I only see positive reviews, to be quite honest, I don't trust it. I think the reason is that I know that they're controlling the content. It's very carefully curated to show only the best aspects of their brand, of their products. If you're on Amazon, it's kind of, no holds barred. Everything goes, negative reviews, positive reviews, people that received a damaged package, or if it didn't work as well as they thought it would. If the size was different, you get a more honest review, and I'm more likely to trust another consumer than I am trust a brand.
Okay. So you said driving traffic to the Amazon listing helps your BSR. I don't disagree with that. I think that is true. Now, there is no proof that outside traffic is part of Amazon's A9 algorithm, but there is proof that driving traffic to a listing, even internally through Amazon, does help your BSR. So clearly, if they're not tracking if it's coming from within Amazon through their search or if it's coming from off, then chances are the traffic is helping the BSR. So I don't disagree with that.
Right.
But you get the purchase, and then the customer's gone. You can't remarket them. So now let me ask you, new product launch.
Okay.
How do you launch a new product on Amazon successfully without using any of the crazy black hat stuff that a lot of people claim they're not using, but they're using? how do you launch a new product and reach a customer base to alert them of a new product that you now have on Amazon if you're not driving traffic to your own site and gaining emails and gaining the audience as opposed to just the transaction?
So that's a good point. I really think at all times, we talk about this all the time, how important it is to build out your email list. I think if you're doing that, you should already have an established base of people that you know are either loyal to your brand, interested in your brand, have purchased from your brand before. We actually, as one of our services, we offer the product review generation emails. I think that's a great excuse to build out your email list. It's the first people you should be reaching out to. There's so many statistics out there that repeat customers are much more likely to buy, that initial customers are more likely to buy and be repeat customers. So if you already have their email from them purchasing once.
But how are you getting the email? If you're driving traffic directly to Amazon, you don't gain the email. You can't get the email.
No, post-purchase email.
So if they purchase after Amazon, that email is blocked. You don't get their actual email. You get the, at Amazon crazy code thing that
throw
they send
it into
out
your
there.
sequence, hey, here's this new product we have, drive it to your blog, make a blog post. I think there's other ways to be getting that information out there aside from pushing to your website.
So you still think you should have your own site?
I think you can have a site. I don't think you necessarily need a transactional site. I think they obviously work hand in hand. Amazon has storefronts now. You can make it essentially do everything your website would do. Mm-hmm. Show your whole product range, show pros and cons, comparisons, all those kind of things. People are a little skeptical to leave Amazon sometimes. I know I definitely am. I think it's a little easier to keep them on there than it is to get a sale on an external website, to be honest.
Okay. So I'm a little stubborn. The last time we had this conversation, we started talking. I go, okay, you're just wrong, and that's fine. But what we started to talk about was you took the consumer side.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because most of the time we're taking the seller side and we go, okay, yeah, but you want to make your money here. You want to do this. You want to have your audience. You want to be able to retarget, blah, blah, blah. But you mentioned something about that you prefer to shop on Amazon because you always have Amazon backing you up if something goes wrong.
That's
as
true,
opposed to on Shopify.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially in the case, for example, if you're advertising on Instagram, there's so many shady brands out there, not to imply that anyone's brands are shady. But I mean, you don't know if something's a scam or not, to be honest. You could put your card information in on a website and never hear from them again. At least if you buy something on Amazon, it comes with the wrong thing or it's the wrong size, whatever. You have someone there behind you that's kind of standing up for you in a way. Even if you pay to return it, at least you can return it and you're not stuck with something you don't want. Also, not for nothing, people are kind of scathing on Amazon reviews. They're not lying. I would imagine most brands aren't going to leave super negative reviews on their website, more likely to reach out to the customer, try to make it right, maybe kind of slide the review off the radar. So I think I've a little more belief that Amazon is a more reliable source of information.
Now, is that dependent on the brand?
I think for new brands, you kind of want to be seeing that there's something standing behind them, right? Instead of just, wow, look at this pretty website. I don't know anything about their products.
But that's on newer brands. What about solidified brands? So you're a big...
Okay, no, let's say...
Here you go. You're a big Gymshark fan.
I am a big Gymshark fan.
And you only shop on Gymshark. Now, Gymshark's not available on Amazon,
it's
correct?
Not.
If it was, would you ignore the site and go to Amazon? Because I know they do all those flash sales and they continuously retarget you through email, which is keeping you every time. And I know every time a Gymshark sale is happening,
he's not lying.
You're immediately on there. And it's because you're getting that email because they had your email. And I'm sure you're getting ads. I'm sure you're seeing their stuff all the time of some new flash sale or whatever they're doing.
Fair.
But if they were on Amazon, would you not go to their site anymore?
Probably. But you're missing an important part. The only reason I ever bought it in the first place is because somebody recommended it to me. So would I have gone to their website and bought blind? Probably not.
So, okay, so you were convinced from word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, which
they have
essentially...
a great social presence. I mean, that was convincing enough, but would I pull the trigger? No, probably not. I think it's hard, especially with the apparel industry, to have any idea what size you should be buying. Concerns about returns. If you buy more than one size, what do you do with it if you buy it and you're stuck with it? They're a UK-based company, so I'm not going to ship it all the way back there. I'd probably just sell it.
So... It sounds, though, like I'm still getting you. I know I can do it. So it sounds to me like it depends on the size of the brand. Because if the brand is
really.
large, if the brand is large enough, though, so you mentioned they have a very large social following, and
Right.
obviously you're getting emails and things like that right now.
Right.
So they have a very large presence to the point where people are talking about them.
There's
so
hype.
now they have the hype. They have everything off online, I guess, where people are still coming in. So I'm trying to figure out at what point does that switch, because now you've gone, okay, well they have
I don't know if it ever
the
does.
large social following clearly says that people are happy with them, because
Right.
most of the time you're not going to follow a company that you're not happy with.
Right.
And you are staying on their email list because you want to stay up to the sales. Now, we're trying to argue people who are both on Amazon and possibly off Amazon.
Right.
They're a bit of a special category because
Right.
they're not on Amazon at all. But you mentioned having people go to the site and it not being transactional and those product pages link to Amazon. How are you still retargeting them? Besides your basic pop-ups and things like that, as soon as they
Right.
click instead of the buy now button, they now have the available on Amazon button. So they click that, they go over to Amazon, that traffic is probably helping your BSR, and it's all that stuff is happening great. But it's a lot more difficult to get that email unless you have a pop-up or if somehow you can start to target them into a newsletter.
I think the thing too that it is a benefit of a website, to be honest, that you can run promotions that you maybe wouldn't run on Amazon, offer free shipping, things like that. But essentially you have to sweeten the pot on your website to get people to buy on your website instead of buying on Amazon. So I think if you're thinking as a consumer, it's not as great for you as a seller, but if you're trying to build sales and build your brand, you kind of want to be doing what's better for the consumer, right?
Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, doesn't A, the branding, as I mentioned, and then B, the customer service side of these other sites comes into hand. If you want to return something, you're like, I didn't like this, and you can get it to them, and they immediately issue a refund and say, we can send you a new product, or we'll give you a refund, or anything like that, and there's no issues, and they're competitive with Amazon, or at least close, where maybe it's not 2-day shipping, maybe it's like 3 or 4 day shipping, and
Right.
it's not something you need like right now. It's like your
No, I need everything right now.
So
but really, it's instant gratification that, if you do have a problem, I want someone to answer me in 24 hours. I feel like that's the standard that's been established for me. That's what I'm used to. So if it doesn't happen, it's kind of not the norm anymore.
So on a consumer
that's the part
level,
that's been set.
You're happy with Amazon's immediate response because they're very
Right.
consumer based. A lot of
Right.
sellers will even agree, like they'll do everything for a consumer, but they don't give a crap about the sellers.
No, it's true.
But with the consumer base, so you have basically Amazon consistently responding. So what about if you have someone with a brand with a good enough customer service that you're getting consistent, quick responses? There's brands with big social followings that have Facebook Messenger where they have a customer
Right.
service person 24/7. Twitter is basically a customer service platform now.
Sure. Yeah. There's pros and cons to Twitter. You can feel different ways about it. I do think that it kind of doesn't matter where you answer as long as you get an answer. But I really don't think most brands have the sheer people in their office to be constantly answering things. It's tedious, it's time consuming. You have to be a certain amount of empathetic to get people to not be annoyed with the fact that, something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that easier thing with Amazon is that if something comes broken, they're like, okay, it was broken, that's a fulfillment issue that has nothing to do with the brand, let us make it right. So
Okay. So the great thing about a debate is that I get to go. I disagree. But I think that's probably good for now. We might have to pick this up again one day, but I appreciate it. And you're wrong.
sweetening
Why is it still going? Why aren't we doing a part 2?
I think I'm doing. I'm recording it. The debate happened.
But the problem is if they click away and they shop on Amazon or if they shop,
That's debatable.
but you're on customer retention.
yeah,
yeah.
you can run so fast. This is a
Yeah, right?
Chill.
Can we add them?
Can we add this
And
into our
bullets.
vehicles
That's what
industry
she
stuff?
Yeah, we should mention that.
Canned goods and leggings. It's a new thing.
I'm done here.
It's anti-zombie leggings.
Andrew's so
You send
wrong.
me that too. I'll use it.